airport, and that's where I like to be. It's beautiful outside, like it's just perfect weather, maybe about 21 degrees Celsius, just perfect. Yeah, good. So should we get started now?
Yes, Maharaj. Dhanraj, are you in a position to share the documents or something, like share the screen for
You're
Bhagavad?
asking me?
No, Dhanraj Prabhu.
Dhanraj, okay.
You cannot unmute yourself, okay? Yes, Maharaj, you can go ahead and start.
Let's begin. All right. Nama Om Vishnu Vidaya Subhastai Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Pranamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachari Shatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Such a pleasure. Haribol. And we'll go for our invocational mantra. Om Jnana Timirandasya
Om Jnana Timirandasya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Jnananjana Shalakaya
Chakshurun Militan Yena
Chakshuram Militam Yena
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha.
I was born in the darkest ignorance.
I was born in the darkest
And
ignorance.
my spiritual master opened my eyes.
And my spiritual master opened my eyes.
With the torchlight of knowledge.
The torchlight of knowledge.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto him.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Anyways, I'm situated outside, and if the good Lord wills, then it won't rain on me, while I'm here. Very well. Okay. Will our host, Vaishnavi, please tell us where we are located?
1.28, Maharaj.
128. Wow.
No, wait, let me see. Did we do?
No. I think I had somebody else sitting in my place last week. Is that right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes.
Last week, we are actually going to do 1.29 too. Yeah, sorry.
29. Wow. We've advanced since 2 seconds ago. Okay. So I think it was Sureshwara who was here with you last week, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. So that's what it is. It's 129. Okay, here we go. Vepatus cha shiriyare me rohomar harshas jayate yandivang svansate astat tvaktaiva paridhayate. Translation. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Hare Krishna. So I'll read it one more time. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Okay. All right. So I think we can get 2 people to read the purport. Okay, like maybe 2 sentences each. Who are the people that need it the most?
Okay, so Arjuna and Gurudas, please, and Haripad, if you can do also. Yeah.
All right.
Purport. There are 2 kinds of trembling of the body, and 2 kinds of standing of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear on the material condition. There
is no fear in transcendental realization. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow, Gandiva, was slipping from his hands, and because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to a material conception of life.
Hare Krishna. I think it might be a good idea for us to go to 30 as well. It's related to 29. So why don't we do that? Have one person go for the Sanskrit and the translation, and then have others do the reading. Don't mind the dogs in the background. Dogs are being dogs, that's all.
Okay, Ravindra Swarup, Mansi Ganga, and who we are? Sandamini.
Sure, Mataji.
नाचा शक्नोमि अवस्थातुं ब्रह्मतित्वा च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I am now unable to stand here any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only causes of misfortune. O Krishna, killer of the Kesi demon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Due to his impatience, Arjuna was unable to stay on the battlefield and he was forgetting himself on account of this weakness of his mind. Excessive attachment for material things puts a man in such a bewildering condition of existence. Bhayam dvitiya biniveshataha shayat. Bhagavad Gita 11.2.37. I'm sorry, Bhagavatam 11.2.37. Such fearfulness and loss of mental equilibrium take place in persons who are too affected by material conditions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Arjuna envisioned only painful reverses in the battlefield. He would not be happy even by gaining victory over the foe. The words nimittani, viparitani are significant. When a man sees only frustration in his expectations, he thinks, why am I here? Everyone is interested.
Next.
Everyone is interested in himself and his own welfare. No one is interested in the Supreme Self. Arjuna is showing ignorance of his real self-interest by Krishna's will. One's real self-interest lies in Vishnu or Krishna. The conditioned soul forgets this and therefore suffers material pains. Arjuna thought that his victory in the battle would only be a cause of lamentation for him.
Thank you very much, Prabhu's. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we're looking at two shlokas here, and we're looking at what's called symptoms. That's how Prabhupada described it. Symptom, when you talk about symptoms, oftentimes we say if someone is having a weak condition, some malady or whatever, the doctor will use that kind of language. Oh, the symptoms are such and such. Or the doctor will ask the patient, what symptoms are you going through? What are you experiencing when you eat or at nighttime when you go to bed? Where is the pain? Blah, blah, blah. So those kind of things. So what's symptomatic here of Arjuna's weaknesses as described here, he's trembling, he's shaking all up, and which is this kind of common for anybody who's not firm, standing firm on the ground. His hair standing on end, his bow is slipping. He doesn't have a firm grip on his celebrated bow, and that bow is the same bow that he used for many battles. And his skin is burning. He's on fire, basically. He's on fire. And he's having a hard time just standing on his feet. I think we all have gone through that type of thing before. When you're feeling kind of shaky, you just want to sit down on a chair or just even on the ground. And then he says, I'm forgetting myself. He's losing a sense of purpose. That's the way that you could read that. His mind is reeling, it's racing, it's going all over the place. And this is all, when it comes to his intellectual abilities or powers, it's almost nil. But his reason for going for the decline on the war or taking part in the war is that he sees it's evil if I go forward. And then he says, he addresses the Lord and as Keshava, which is translated as the killer of the Keshi demon. There's two meanings for Keshava, at least I know of. There's Keshava refers to the Lord who has beautiful, wavy black hair. That's one thing. It's a real compliment. And I guess the other compliment is, well, you killed the demon. A demon who was in the kind of horse incarnation, uh, or let's say, yeah, reincarnation. You can only say carnation for the Lord. You can't say necessarily reincarnation. Reincarnation is what we all go through. So the main point is that Arjuna is suffering. He's going through a difficult time, and we feel for him. If the beginning of the Gita wasn't, let's say, presenting itself in this manner, where we have the situation of the underdog or a person who's just struggling, we wouldn't have a good story. We probably wouldn't have a good dialogue, good conversation. You know, isn't it true? Yeah, like what makes a good drama is when there is trauma. And when someone's struggling and you want to watch them overcome that struggle, that and getting over the hurdle and trying to figure out how do you get over that hurdle. It's a little bit like I was thinking. Once in a while I get little vertigo effects, and please don't be my doctor, any of you. You know, I'm just making a statement. Sometimes you get a little vertigo experience, and it's hard to actually stand up. You want to lie down, at least in my case, lie down on the ground, go for where the air is, there's a little circulation, and just look straight. Don't make any sudden turns. Or you, and so that's what you do. You try to get some, get your bearings. You know, you want to get your bearings. And in Krishna consciousness, we get our bearings before we become serious about devotional service. We may be a little bit on the confused side. As Krishna states in the Gita in chapter 7, there are 4 kinds of people that come to him, and one of them is those who are in distress. And so that is the case of Arjuna. He's really stressed out because there's expectations of him and expectations that he cannot fulfill, you know, at least from his own reckoning. So therefore, Arjuna is in a position where he's like vulnerable. He needs a talking to, and Krishna is there for him, so that there will be an elimination of these symptoms, and we will start to see there will be no trembling. Hair will stand in place. Have you ever met those people who are every hair has to be right, perfect in place? And if there's one that's a little bit looped over, then it's like a big, a big concern for them. If you have you have to do anything like your profession calls for holding onto tools, or like in the case of surgery, you have those those medical tools that you have to hold on, get a good grip on them. Or if you're doing some sports, like the people behind me, they've got a good hold on their rackets, their tennis rackets. And so that's once that's achieved, you're great. And skin is burning when you're on fire inside. It's not a good sign. It means your kapha, pitta, and vata are imbalanced, and that is earth, water, fire, air. When they're imbalanced, it just means that you're ill. Then you're ill. So that's the case. That's what he's going through. When your mind is racing, well, our mind is already racing all the time. When it speeds up, and go super high speed, then you're in greater trouble. He said, I'm forgetting myself. That means his sense of purpose is lost. So the way he concludes it on his analysis is that what I'm asked to do here, what am I expected to do? It's evil. It's just evil. So Krishna, you were the killer of the Keshi demon. Can you please kill all these symptoms? Can you kill the doubts that I may have? So that's the significance of the word Keshava. And that's the chosen definition in this case of Keshava. Okay, those are some of the pointers that we want to bring out. Arjuna is self-conscious, and he's forgetting that a sense of duty, dharma, and this is what happens when people have lost their sense of responsibility. And so it is a little bit on the selfish side. So from selfishness, there's going to be anxiety, there's going to be trouble. So if you can remove that selfishness and simply carry on and do what needs to be done, especially if the Lord is giving out an order. And we're going to hear about that also in chapter 2. Krishna is not really, he hasn't really said, let's go out there and do the job, get the job done. So I think that's really a lesson that we have to tell ourselves throughout the day, starting in the beginning of the day, and throughout. Says, I have to get my job done, and I have to do it well. I have to pay attention to the details. Details are so important. Okay, so folks, go ahead and let's hear your comments and remarks and your reflections on what's going on here. And I always appreciate you, Kishore, if you have some input. That's always great to hear from you, being having some seniority here. Hare Krishna. So jump in when you want, okay? If you
Okay.
don't mind.
Well, Maharaj, I think you brought a very crucial point of racing of the mind. I mean, we can see Arjuna. I mean, that's what he was going through in his mind. I mean, Prabhupada mentions in the purport the loss of life, his own life, but he was also thinking of the loss of life, potential loss of life of his brothers, all the relatives. I mean, so in our case, interpolating that to our case that you mentioned, strictly that particular point, the racings of the mind. I mean, it is a very real problem for devotees, especially me, having to battle the mind. And so are you aware of any techniques or tactics that can help us out in dealing with the mind like that? Because like you said, sooner or later, we are always facing these kind of things. And I mean, we know we have to chant the holy names and all that, but something more immediate, more, with the issue of actually controlling the mind. I think that's a valid point, I would say.
So you're asking me the question.
Yeah, I mean, what techniques are you aware of? Techniques or tactics to actually subdue the mind when it's at that point when it is racing like crazy.
Yeah. Put your device to the side. Get rid of your cell phone.
I mean, it's very difficult because when we have thoughts, when we go through emotions, when we have desires, these are all different levels of the mind.
Yeah.
And so we often, because Prabhupada said, thinking, feeling, and willing. And so thinking involves thoughts, holding thoughts in the mind. Feeling means there are sentiments, there are attachments, there are, feelings for this person, bad feelings for that other person. or stuff like that, and then the desires. I mean, how can we separate desires, emotions, and thoughts from who we are? That's kind of it's a very tricky inward. It's almost like mystical, I would say. So any techniques that you are aware of?
Well, techniques, my personal experience tells me that it's like, say, the other night I was writing a poem and I was a little stuck, with some of the lines. I didn't like them. I was trying to make a point, but I felt I could do a little better. So what I did then is what I normally do, I just step away. I'll just go into the next room and take a breath. Doing some nice, meaningful pranayama is very helpful in many circumstances. I would highly recommend that. And I would step away from whatever you're involved in. I'm sure Picasso or somebody like that, he's probably working on something, and then, maybe he's doing two pieces on canvas at the same time. So he'll step away, and then he comes back and has a fresh take on it.
Yeah.
So I think those are some of the things that help out. And get some fresh air. Oh my God, because walking is a technique. Now you might think that's strange coming from my mouth, but beautiful ideas come from when you're outside and moving your entire machinery, and new ideas, pop into the head, and even whether it's intellectual or artistic. There's something about moving your body and getting away from a sort of a stoic or frozen situation. So I think that helps out. Now Arjun couldn't just walk away, although he did walk. In the beginning of when the chariot was drawn between the two armies, he did actually take a little bit of a walk. You know that, right?
Yeah, I remember now that you mention it.
And when he did, it just people were, what's he doing? Like you could have, and basically what it was all about was to go to his superiors, as I think Bhishma was on the list, and just, is it okay? Can I carry on with what I need to do now? Do I have your blessings? That kind of thing, that really helps out, So if the mind is being triggered, it often helps to get out of that particular space, whether it means going into another room or just going outside, opening the door and putting yourself out there. Really helps a lot before making your going backwards and going back to the spot where performance has to take place. Those that you asked about techniques, I think that's what I wanted to say, but that helps me a lot.
I think
I recall going to GBC meetings, and sometimes the topics get to be very deep, and says, oh my God. And I'll just make like I'm going to the washroom, outside, going for a bio break. And then I'll maybe just do a little pranayam and or Surya Namaskar, and just kind of it gives me a chance to rethink things. So maybe Arjun's problem was that he just kind of stood there, and he really needed to move around, as he needed to be the vertigo, if that makes any sense.
Well, it's a good point, is walking, because if you recall also in the Mahabharata, Krishna and Arjun used to walk together quite a bit.
Mhm.
During the event of burning of the Kandavaprastha forest,
Mhm.
and I think that's the name of the forest.
Yes.
Before that, before Agni arrived on the scene, Krishna and Arjun used to take strolls. So, but that's a good point, actually. Walking, and it forces. In fact, I had tried that already, but I didn't know that I could use it as a technique. But yes, you're right. Walking is right.
Like Nietzsche, the philosopher Nietzsche, he said that, I don't take his conclusions on life seriously. but he was quite a thinker. Maybe he was an overthinker, but he
Yeah.
said that the greatest moments or ideas or concepts come from when you're walking.
Interesting.
You get a chance to rethink. You have to, because then you can be very more objective instead of subjective.
Right.
If that makes any sense. Well, that's good. Thank you for helping
Thank you,
us.
Maharaj.
Does anybody else have some thoughts based on the brilliance that rolled out from Yugalakishore's mouth? Anybody else have some thoughts?
Maharaj, and devotees, Hare Krishna. I think chanting also helps, especially when one is stuck in a problem. It's not easy to carry bead bag and have them in the office, but otherwise, all the time, a bead bag is almost always with me, and or in my car or around my neck. So just even if you're not able to finish, if I'm not able to finish a round, japa round, just holding the beads and having it around my fingers,
Yes.
I would say that helps.
Chanting Hare Krishna, like it's a given. I
Yes.
think that what Yugalakishore was
Chanting.
talking about, he said, apart from chanting, is that right, Yugalakishore? What were some of the other techniques,
Yeah.
practical things that you might like to do? So yeah, it's a given that chanting grounds you, it helps you. I'm going to give you another, practical thing. Sometimes when things are a little bit confused, or you're caught in the heat of a moment, or you're very, very stressed about something, I thought it just really helps to just gotta look up in the sky. Like right now, I can look in the sky, I can look at the clouds, and it's kind of it frees my mind. There's something very pure about up there, not just the colors. I see the Krishna blue, I see the Balaram white, and I find that helps a lot too. Sometimes taking a shower. Yeah, you're talking about techniques, so those are physical techniques. And people always say, take a deep breath. Yeah, so take a good dose of that good old, oxygen.
Yeah, that pranayama that you mentioned, you said pranayama or?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a fact. I used to do that in Vancouver Temple
Mhm.
ages ago in the mountains. We used to go with the devotees and had these breathing exercises. But that's good. Breathing deeply and walking a lot.
Good, good.
But
Well,
another technique I want to mention here, Maharaj, is that in the last couple of months, I've been having trouble concentrating on my japa. The Prabhu here was talking about chanting japa. And some of the issues, come to the mind, issues that I had to do, I had to accomplish, and I don't want to procrastinate, and so, but while trying to chant my rounds, they pop up and they won't go away. So what I found out is that I stop chanting and I just make a list. I just jotted them down on a paper and I say, okay, won't forget it. So here it is, I'm writing it. Krishna, please help me. It's there on the paper. I'll look at it later.
Good.
Now I just want to chant. So I found out that helps.
Yeah, sure. You found a technique, and these are simple things that we're suggesting for us to do. For devotees to do, have a little struggle with concentrating. I think we all fit into that category of struggling to keep a major focus on things. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. But Srila Prabhupada always indicated that if you try, Krishna's very pleased with you. You may not succeed, but you just keep at it. Good. Anybody else there have some thoughts? We don't want it to be just a triangle of people. Okay. I'm looking at some of the names we got here. Okay. Well, has it been helpful? maybe I could put that question out there. So, been helpful to some of you to hear some of these suggestions?
Yes,
Is it
Maharaj.
something you've tried already? Okay,
Yes,
sure.
yes, Maharaj. Excellent suggestions.
Yeah.
And what Prabhuji said, it is big eye opener for me to make some notes when I'm chanting, when the mind is racing, too fast and all the ideas coming at that time. So I'll be practicing that. And the other thing I do is that when there are too many activities which has been piled at one time, I have to do 4 or 5 things at one time. I just pray to Krishna. I just pause and I pray to Krishna and I tell Krishna, please give me the intelligence to remember I'm forgetting. So sometimes that helps me to calm down a little bit because I'm throwing everything in Krishna's feet and telling Krishna that take care of me because there are too many things happening in my life right now. Please take care of me.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I think it also helps to step into a prayerful mood. Just ask the Lord to help you through the difficulty. And that's a prayer or vandanam is one of the practices, one of the 9 principles of devotional service. Here's a chance to use it. And there's usually a wonderful reciprocation that takes place. It's like a game of tennis. One person, with his racket, throws the ball, and then the other person reciprocates. It's totally a back and forth thing. So with Krishna, it's the same thing. If you appeal to him, he's happy to help. I'm there for you, my dear devotee, my dear bhakta. I'm there for you. So, send me some of your problems, and I'll try to help you with those issues. Right now, there's a helicopter flying overhead, and oftentimes helicopters are taking bodies over to or let's say not bodies, but injured people to the hospital nearby for a quick, let's say, quick move to the nearest medical situation. So I guess we have to move fast on these things when there are these unfavorable symptoms. And of course, a mind that's moving very fast, like a monkey, also needs some discipline, right? When I go to the MVT there in Brindavan, I think most of you understand there's that little nice sort of neighborhood yeah, where there's devotees or they have their residences, and there's these fellows that go around security with big sticks, and they keep the monkeys, sort of under control. The monkeys will try to come into your home and try to steal whatever they can, and you have these guys who are on guard. So I think we also have to be very much on guard, to try to stave off these turbulent mind. The turbulent mind starts with the mind. The mind is your best friend or worst enemy, as you all know, as you've experienced. All right. Anything else, Prabhus?
Yes, Maharaj, I would like to also add that the pranayam that you mentioned is particularly very effective way to calm your mind when there are many things going on. That definitely helps. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because in today's chaotic world, when there's so much out there and you're overwhelmed with so many things, it's yeah, definitely the number one thing to do, clubbed along with with a walk or a change of a scenario. Maybe sometimes even listening to some nice therapeutic music also helps. So
Yeah.
like a little bit of jazz music or whatever people like. Some people like instrumental, some people like classical music, whatever people like. So I think it's a combination of all of that. I think it really does help. Sometimes even meeting people, talking to people, because we are not isolated. So sometimes communities like these, I mean, this is also a kind of a good community that we have. but also our other communities that we've built in our lives, whether it's work or professionally or socially. It's just good to have a bit of everything. So yes, thank you, Maharaj, for reinforcing the pranayam and the breathing.
Thank you. I think when you experience fatigue, which most of us do, from sitting in one place too long, the pranayam really comes in handy. Or for devotees who might be there, on this call, from Europe, it's very late for you. So I don't know how you keep yourself so alert. I think there's something mystical. As far as listening to music, yes, it can anchor you. Um, I'll reach out to something like Holz's The Mystic or Neptune. It's like a 4-minute piece and it's very soothing and you feel like you're flying through the sky in the nighttime, bypassing all the planets. And it's beautiful. Can you imagine chanting Japa over a piece of music like that? Holtz, the planets, especially Neptune, also known as the Mystic. Yeah, good. Anybody else have any other solutions? I think everyone's tried something, so we're asking if you could actually just share your experience and what helps you to get grounded again, get sense of focus, and we like to hear from everybody what your techniques are. Or
Hare Krishna.
go
Hare
for a swim
Krishna.
in the canal, somewhere out there outside of Amsterdam. Just
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
yes.
My experience is I normally meditate on the pastimes, Krishna, and meditate on the Dham.
Yes.
And then sometimes I open the Mayapur Vrindavan website and see the Aarti or the deities just to concentrate more on Japa.
Nice. Good. Thank you for sharing. It's helpful. It's very helpful. Good.
Ananta has something to say. Ananta
Yeah,
said,
Maharaj, didn't Bhakti Siddhanta remind us that every day morning we have to take our footwear and hit our head? What I do is like when you visit us, I take your footwear instead of mine and hit my head.
You do that? I didn't know you did.
Yeah, when you were not looking.
you're not.
Okay, well, maybe I should just come barefoot next time and then you will be able to grab my shoes. Yeah, Bhakti Siddhanta talked about beating your head with a boot or the broomstick or something like that. Yeah, good. By the way, as we're talking now, it's been overcast all day, and raining, and now the sun is coming to it. It's directly coming and hitting my phone here. Just to share with you something that's worth sharing. Anybody else have some techniques that they use?
I think
Maharaj,
Arjuna has something.
go ahead, Mataji.
Arjuna has something to say.
Oh, okay.
Arjun.
So I was listening to the class this morning, and there's like Nice Brahmachari said that if you pray to Krishna in the morning, please Krishna, like my mind is always restless. Can you please like focus on that here? All things, so I won't get distracted. He said that always helps. But like normally, if I have time, because I don't always have time, I will go to the woods and I like to meditate. You hear the birds and it's very relaxing. The breeze.
Arjun, I'm having a little hard time hearing what you're saying for some reason. Maybe you're moving ahead a little bit too much.
Yes,
But
Prabhu, your audio is broken, Prabhu. Your audio voice is broken. Yeah.
sorry about that. We don't mean to give you a hard time. We don't mean for your hairs to stand on end and that you're trembling and we're not meaning for that to happen. But yeah, it's hard to hear what you're saying.
I think it's because he's in a car. And he's
Yeah,
moving.
perhaps that's what it is. Yeah. You're in a car. We're blaming it on the car. That always makes me feel good. Blame it on the car.
I think Sadhgama had something to say, right? Next or
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna Maharaj. I was thinking since Anantashesh Prabhu, my god brother, mentioned about your sandals. I was thinking about what Nitai Sevani Mataji, her grace, Nitai Sevani Mataji says, the bead and the broom should go hand in hand in Krishna consciousness, where she says that yes, the beads are important, like chanting, but also devotional service is also important because each one kind of supports each other. So I always feel that devotional service, like doing anything, in the temple, whether it's cleaning or even cooking, or even going out and distributing prasadam or books, I think it kind of helps me focus more in my chanting.
Mm.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, I agree. When it comes to cleaning, just like if you have a spot on the counter that has been bugging you for some, you just go and put just some elbow grease to it and clean it up, or water the plants, those kind of things, rake the leaves, all those kind of things. If you have the time, sometimes you don't. You're expected to react to something very swiftly here. In some sense, Arjuna is expected to just move along and not be so deterred, you know. And but sometimes time allows. So if you have the time, take the time to go for that walk or whatever. On the other hand, if it requires your attention immediately, then what's the harm in taking that little extra breath? Yeah. Okay. We caught a message there. Arjuna is saying, uh, offer a prayer before you do your japa. Yeah, that helps. When the course of your chanting and your mind starts to go astray, then again you can jump back into prayer. Please, Krishna, help me with this. Please help me. I know when I see devotees doing japa, it's like either they're not always attentive and they're sort of nodding, or they might be quite attentive and it's all in their facial expression. Oh, please, please, Krishna, please help me to remember you. It's you get those kind of external symptoms or features, and you can tell when somebody's really trying their best, and those are very inspiring optics, for devotees to see that. Yeah. Okay. It's nice to see Arjun Saka. It's nice to see the devotees' faces. Good. Hare Krishna. Anybody
Maharaj,
else? Yeah.
Maharaj,
Go ahead.
I just want to add something that you said and Arjun Prabhu just said about pray. You mentioned about 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago about being prayerful, and that was such a great idea because earlier this year I started again. My mind was racing a lot of issues I had to take care of. Could not concentrate on my job, but the quality went down. So it's taking me longer now to chant my rounds, but I found that I composed a prayer for each round that I chant.
Mm.
And the first is to all my gurus, Shiksha gurus, Diksha guru. The second round is for Prabhupada. The third round is a prayer that I composed for Lord Nityananda. The fourth for Lord Chaitanya. And here in Alacha we had Radha Sundar. So the fifth and the sixth is a prayer to Radharani, to Krishna, and the seven and the eight is a prayer to Balaram and Krishna.
Mm. Nice.
After I do those eight, the following eight, I meditate on each of the Shastaka prayers. So that makes 16. It takes me longer, but I find that prayerful attitude is helping me a lot.
Good.
That's
So
all I wanted to
out of your sincerity, you found some methodologies that will help you to overcome this tendency to be fickle and to be chanchalam, be all over the place. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I just put an appeal out there, peruse. What do you all do for trying to get back to square one? What do you do to get back to the focus? so that things aren't so blurred. Yeah. All right.
I think Nava Yamana has a question or something to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to this, like what I do, when I get distracted when I'm chanting. First of all, when I'm chanting, I think of Lord Krishna with Radharani and his pastimes. Yes, that helps me a lot. And then when I get distracted, I tell Lord Krishna, what is happening again? And then I stop my chanting. And if I'm in the house, I'll just go for a walk in my house. And if I'm on the bus, on the local transit bus, I will just stop and I will just look around for a minute only. And then I'll start again. And that helps me to focus very quickly again. And then sometimes I also, when I lose my focus, I think of Prabhupada ji that moment immediately. And then I pray to him, asking him, uh, help me to focus. And then immediately immediately my attention is back on the japa. I mean, these are the things I do mostly. And honestly, and as a result, what happens is, I've seen it that whenever I talk to Prabhupada ji for wherever I am now, wherever, even if I'm in a busy place, I tend to cross the 16 rounds and I go beyond it sometimes. I go up to 20th round also. That's what I have realized. I don't know what happens, and I just keep continuing. I don't stop. So that's what I do mostly. And yeah, like yesterday was one of the worst days I had. Yes, yesterday was an experience again. I don't know. I was chanting and my head was spinning badly. And my I don't know, I was getting all sorts of crazy thoughts about many things, and it was like my brain was a mixture of garbage, I would say that. I mean it I immediately stopped myself, and then I talked to Lord Krishna and Radharani that moment, and I talked to them, telling them, what is happening? Why this garbage is coming in my head? What exactly are you trying to tell me? So, and then I just shut my eyes, and I remember I did that yesterday. I just shut my eyes for 5 minutes, and then I started my chanting, and then I did not have any more distractions after that. So after I finished my rounds, but I finished, actually I went up to 19th round yesterday then. I don't know, I just felt like I should continue. I didn't stop. But then
Well,
when
that's
I
good.
said, okay, I have to stop now, and then what happened? Then I asked myself, after I finished everything, what was those thoughts? I started looking into those thoughts then.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, that looks like you got a nice technique that's working for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, prayer is one thing that's kind of a common theme that's coming up in our dialogue here. Good, thank you for sharing. Anybody else have some thoughts? We'd like to hear from the Netherlands to see if there's anything, if they have some special techniques. They make incredible cheese over there, and they grow the best flowers in the world. So they must have, there's that incredible brilliance that comes out of that world. And so let's see what any of you
Keep eating
devotees have to
cheese.
say.
Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also said that recommended cold shower in the morning. So that is one thing that really helps. I find for me to have a cold shower in the morning, and also just to be in the when the mind is getting distracted with all kinds of thoughts. I usually find it's a result of deviating from the service mindset. So whenever I think of serving my guru, then automatically I find the mind coming back in line. So yeah, whenever I deviate from that, then I find that my mind is filled with all kinds of thoughts.
Nice, nice. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad that people are at work over there in the Netherlands, helping to set a nice pacing for us. Yes, thank you. Anybody else? Rubinder Swarup, do you have anything?
Yes, Maharaj, it's a mix of many things that the devotee said, but when I feel like that, then I realize that, I'm feeling a little suffocated. So something that is bigger than me, if I can think of that, that really helps. So nature, like you said, looking at the sky, the colors of the sky, that really helps me, Maharaj. Like you
Uh,
mentioned. And also, if I'm at home, so, and I have a little bit of time to, then what I do is I try to cook something simple and just put a kirtan and offer it to Jagannath, and then I think it feels nice.
uh-huh. Beautiful. Nice, nice. Now we're getting to the stove and the kitchen. Yay, Haribo. Anybody else want to share?
I think, Maharaj, everybody said a lot of nice things, and going along with the last point, I take if I'm disturbed by something, I take a walk and like appreciate nature and try to think about, my smallness and how the problems, whatever I'm worried about, is so small and temporary. So why worry about it?
Mm.
I'll pray to Krishna and think about that.
Yeah, you think we have problems. Just like not so long ago, before I got on this call with you, on Instagram, I saw some guy in China, a younger man, and he's got this kind of like a device on his neck, and he's carrying like incredible, like the bricks, or like on a construction site. Bricks. He's shirtless. He has his shorts on. So he's taking them and going up the stairs real carefully, and then unloading them, dropping them, and then just getting himself ready for the next load. And that his whole day is like that. So we think we have heavy weights to carry. Well, look at what some people are doing in other parts of the world. It's
Right.
it's pretty lightweight stuff that we have to work out. And I also think that when Arjuna is dealing with his pressure, and it is heavy pressure, no doubt. There's no doubt that it's traumatic for him, and that it's kind of like a back break kind of dynamic. What he had to go through and what we have to go through with our challenges in life, like there's almost no comparison. You know, he had to go really through the ringers, and we have hardly anything to worry about when you look and see what other people have to do in a drudgery. We don't have real problems when you look around.
Yeah, first world problems.
Yeah, we have first world problems. Yeah. Developed world problem. Devil up. The devil is up in the first world. All
Yeah.
right. Anybody else? We're doing good. We actually have about 4 minutes left, and we've more or less been doing our takeaways by sharing our experiences. Is there anybody else who didn't have a chance? I didn't hear from Arjun Saka from Edmonton, and Edmonton's got a lot of brightness blowing all everywhere. It's got a lot of oil, at least. That's what I can say about Edmonton. Okay,
Hare
let's hear
Krishna
from you.
Maharaj.
Yeah.
Maharaj, what I do, it's just experience now I was having. Yesterday, after going home from temple, I called my old school friends from India, and I feel like why I called them. I shouldn't do that because I feel like totally distracted. They were there on their own world and all. So at the night also I was all disturbed like that. But in the morning I decided to, like, I was free from the college and all. So I decided to come to temple and organize all the DT dresses and the backdrops. So
Oh,
I
good.
was at the right now. I feel like that was the my my idea for that is to go and serve in temple something. Then I get to alignment in my brain for the
Okay, great. Yeah, so for the reset and the refocus, you thought you'd go to your temple and do something nice for the deities. Yeah.
yes,
These are all
okay.
positive things. Okay. Because when you're very confused, it's negative, isn't it? But when you're less confused and you have a sense of purpose, then your mind is at ease. That's symptomatic. Yeah, great. We didn't hear from our host yet, Vaishnavi. I think we really, need to hear from you because you're our biggest inspiration on every week on this call on Thursday afternoon or
Maharaj,
evening.
we get together because of your,
No, you shouldn't be lying here, okay?
I had a thought when you were saying about how much Arjuna went through in Mahabharata and comparing our problems. It seems like almost then we get the spiritual problems based on our spiritual advancement. So Arjuna was quite advanced and therefore he got all the bigger problems.
Right. Yeah,
And
because he could handle it.
we are in kindergarten and therefore we will get kindergarten problems.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So be ready.
Oh my
The bigger devotee you are, the bigger the challenges may be. But the end result is that you come out stronger in the end, right? Usually that's what happens. Good. Do we have anybody else that hasn't had a chance to express themselves, sharing techniques and so on?
Maharaj, I already expressed myself regarding the topic, but I have, before I lose you, I have two things important. One is somebody took books from you when you were at New Vrindavan at the retreat, at the mantra, and they did not give you the Lakshmi. So that person messaged me and he wants to know how he can send Lakshmi to you. So I'm which of the devotees here should I contact in Canada? Somebody here in this group?
Is it not possible just to do a bank transfer? That didn't work, right?
I would say the quickest way is, I would say the quickest way is to do Zelle or Venmo or something to one of your disciples.
I've never.
Who's
That's the first time I heard that. I don't even know what that is.
No, they will give the equivalent to you in cash if he can. Is that okay, Maharaj? Like he can send Lakshmi to one of your disciples in this call in Canada, and that person will receive it immediately in his bank account. And yeah.
Okay, then he can send
and
it
the second.
Okay, then why don't you just try Nityananda Prabhu? I'll give you his phone number if you're interested.
Okay.
So I'll give it to you right now, and then he should be able to help.
Yes.
So 437-993-2256.
Okay, I got it. I'll message him, Maharaj. And Maharaj, I need to talk to you about two other important things, but I don't want to take everybody's time. So can I give you a call immediately after this? Can you stay on?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
thank you, Maharaj.
that will be fine. Paruz, I want to thank you all. It's a pleasure to have been on the phone, the call for the last hour. It was really very helpful to hear what are the different strategies that you use for overcoming the blurry mind and times of stress and distress. It was really good. We have a long list, I think, that we put together, and that list should be revisited as much as possible. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. And what shall I say? Tot ziens, which means goodbye in Dutch, or arrivederci, which is goodbye in Italian. For now, take care. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyascha. Manambhavanebhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna devotees. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Vaishnavi Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.